Good evening, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your fourth and final video blog of the night for September 23rd, 2014, around 8:38 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun's down now. It's dark. The crickets are out. Going to be a nice night again. Highs in the lows in the 40s, and we're going to do it again tomorrow with highs in the 60s. Thursday, we might have some rain. Some news to report. The Boston Celtics are not for sale, says owner Rick Grousbeck, even though there's been rumors that Rick Grousbeck has put the Celtics up for sale. And if the Celtics were sold, they would be sold for at least $875 million. That's what they're worth. But it could go north of that. It could go to $1 billion if Rick decides to sell the Celtics. Also, he says Rick Grousbeck also says his main goal is to keep Rondo on the team past this upcoming season. Rondo could be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. I think Rondo's going to go because he doesn't want to be part of a rebuilding process, which will take many years. Like I said, if Rondo gets traded, I bet you 2-1 the Celtics will not make the playoffs until at least the 2018-2019 season. And also the Boston Bruins are playing right now against Montreal Canadiens, and people are complaining they should have the game on NESN Plus or stuff. And eventually I think all Bruins preseason games will be on NESN Plus because there's a demand for it. They show all the Celtics preseason games on Comcast Sportsnet New England. Why can't they show all the preseason games for the Boston Bruins on NESN Plus? Because Red Sox are playing right now, so they probably would have to play on NESN Plus. And that's about it on that. And my fourth and final video blog of the night, my personality profile, and it's about the ultimate Boston Bruin. The ultimate Boston Bruin is Milt Schmidt. Milt Schmidt has been a part of the Bruins organization for over 70 years, except for a few years. Milt Schmidt was one of the greatest Bruins players of all time, and his number 15 retired by the team. Milt grew up in Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, and he dropped out of school at the age of 14 to support his family working at a shoe factory because his father passed away when he was 14. And he played junior hockey in Kitchener, Ontario. He was childhood friends with Woody Dumont and Bobby Bauer, who eventually became his teammate for the Boston Bruins, forming the Kraut line. And the Bruins acquired Milt Schmidt's rights in 1935, and he still played junior hockey. He played a half a season at the AHL's Providence Reds. And in the middle of the 1936-1937 season, Milt Schmidt suited up for the Boston Bruins for the first time. And he won like 2 Stanley Cups as a player for the Bruins. He was the 1940 NHL scoring leader. He played center on a line with Bobby Bauer and Woody Dumont. They were the Kraut line because their ancestries was German. And Milt Schmidt missed 3 years of prime NHL career because he fought in World War II with the Canadian Army Force. He came back and played pretty good for the Bruins from 1946 through 1951. He won the Hart Trophy for the league's most valuable player in 1951. And he was named captain that same year. He won the Hart Trophy of the Boston Bruins. Midway through the 1954-55 season, Milt Schmidt became head coach of the Bruins. He retired as an active player that year, and he had stats of 229 goals, 46 assists for 575 points. And if you average that out for the modern day, he probably would be close. If he managed to the modern day, that would be the equivalence of maybe close to 500 goals and like 700 assists and 1,200 points if you equivalence that out. And like Milt was a was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1961. He discovered Bobby Orr on a scouting trip in Parry Sound, Ontario in 1960, and Milt Schmidt said Bobby Orr is the greatest hockey player he ever saw, and he says if there's a greater hockey player than Bobby Orr, he hopes the good Lord fits for him to still be around to see him, because he will be one amazing player. Milt's still around at his age 96, and maybe he's still waiting for that next Bobby Orr. And like Milt Schmidt, like in the mid-60s, became like general manager of the Boston Bruins. He won 2 Stanley Cups as GM as the Boston Bruins, 1970, 1972. He pulled a trigger on a blockbuster trade in 1967, which they got Phil Esposito and Fred Stanfield and Ken Hodge from the Chicago Blackhawks, and those were major pieces for Bruins championships in 70 and 72. In 1974, Milt Schmidt left the Boston Bruins for a couple of years to become general manager of the expansion Washington Capitals, but the Washington Capitals were a very bad team in the first couple of years in the NHL. Even Milt coached them for about parts of 2 seasons and stuff after he left. After he got fired as coach and GM, he came back to the Boston Bruins as like a goodwill ambassador. He's there at many like season home openers. He's there for a lot of Bruins functions, part of the Boston Bruins Alumni Association, and he still plays golf. And in 1996, he won the Lester Patrick Award for contributions to hockey and stuff like that. And Milt Schmidt is the ultimate Bruins. He's only 4 more years away from reaching 100 years old, and he's still in pretty good health. And I think he's gonna reach 100 years old. It'd be amazing to see him. And next year will be like 80 years since Milt Schmidt's been part of the Bruins organization. I'd be elected for a former player being associated with the team in one way or another. Good for him, and God bless him. He's gonna be around for many more years, I think. And that's about it for the ultimate Bruin, Milt Schmidt. And I'll be talking about more classic Bruins players on the days and weeks ahead leading up to the NHL season, because there'll be some personality profiles of more classic Bruins players, and because that's hockey season's coming up. And I hope you enjoyed these 4 video blogs today, and tomorrow I'll be only doing 3. I usually normally do 3, but if there's something warranted for a 4th one or a 5th one or even a 6th one, I'll do it. 6 will be the maximum amount of video blogs I do a day. Subjects tomorrow I'm going to talk about is about something with like a commentary about why TV station executives do not want to have a game show on their stations for like syndication and stuff like that, and also my week 4 NFL picks. And the 3rd one, I'll tell your Facebook friends at the last video, my last status of the day. It's going to be a personality profile. It's going to be a surprise. And don't forget, future video blogs will include Julie Broughton, Local News 6, Heidi Lee Pratt, Janelle Tobin, Dee Patel, Crystal Pistol, more Bruins, classic Bruins players, and so many others. October 1st is the NHL preview blog, 8 days away. See you later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.